those flying units, I'll be able to defend. He's still on 2 base, which is a great thing for me. The more bases he's on, the scarier he is. Bringing my units around, trying to get into good positions. I have turrets up now, so I'm getting to be ready. And here he's morphing banelings, which are incredibly scary, and I don't really have siege tanks to counter them. And he comes with a poke, but realizes, oh, I got marines right there. He can't really do anything. Yeah, their mutalisks are very fragile, and a couple marines can take care of him. Oh, and I'm trying to bring him on. And he's just trying to dance, trying to catch me out of position, trying to move my marines into one place so they'll be out and leave a vulnerable position so we can loop right back around. He notices, oh, all my marines are coming back around. They know that he's there, just trying to force him out. But banelings are suicide units. Really, the only thing that I would have to counter them are siege tanks, and I don't really have any right now, and that is very worrisome. And they just obliterate marines, which are my only defense against these mutalisks. And here he comes, getting ready for a push. I see what he's doing. I stim, I try to run him out of the way, run all my marines out of the way, get away from the banelings, get away from the banelings, get away from the banelings. He's trying to bring him into my mineral line. Get my SCVs out of there, move them around, bring my attacking army back in to clean it up, saving my SCV line, and killing his army. These mutalisks did not come, but now they're coming in. Seeing, oh hey, there's an opening here, but I see that my marines are right there, popping them in, just getting a handful and stimming them so only they take the damage, and taking out the mutalisk threat. Also managed to get up on the ledge and take out the Overlord. I accidentally misclicked and have all my workers follow one of my other workers as opposed to mining, but I remedied that pretty shortly. Now he's taking his 3rd base, which is a good move. I'm very happy to have him on 2 base for as long as I did. Although at the same time, I've already made a 3rd base, which I am shortly going to lift off and put down here into an expansion. Now, at the same time, I am also expecting that he's going to be putting a 3rd base down. So I bring a dropship. So this ship is filled with marines that I can drop off at any point. Now I see this drone, and I see his base here. Oh, would you look at that? There is a base here. I'm going to unload my marines, and see what I can do. Unfortunately, it's not quite enough. I was hoping he would have drones here, and so he's able to just bring his army back and take me out here, unfortunately. At the same time, it puts on more pressure. He knows that I know that he has this 3rd base. I still have some map control in that fact. He's now worried that I'm going to be putting some aggression on his 3rd base. He does take out my medevac, unfortunately, with those mutalisks. I'm getting additional siege tank production, though I'm not really placing them in proper places right now. I need to have my production tab open. So I do have my 3rd down here. I'm building a planetary fortress, which is an upgrade that I can put on my command centers to make it an anti-ground behemoth. And it'll just absolutely take out anything on the ground. And also building turrets as static defenses against the mutalisks that I know he has, and he's been trying to poke at me with. Keeping my minerals down very well, but my gas I really need to spend a bit better. Making medvacs, tanks, and marines, which is really one of the best comps against what he's going right now, this Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk style. It's a very interesting composition to fight against each other. The marines are good against the Zerglings and the Mutalisks, but Banelings will absolutely devastate the marines. So then the Zerglings and Mutalisks can do their damage once the marines are out of the picture, but my siege tanks are good against the Banelings. So if I can engage the Banelings well, I can take them out, and my marines will clean up everything else. So now he's actually got 4 bases up, though he is not mining from this 4th base just yet, or even really from this 3rd. He's actually transferring his workers now and starting to poke around with his Mutalisks a little bit. He's now building Spore Crawlers just in case I do drop play, and he's got a pretty decent size army, though in terms of supply I'm up about 20. and now I'm ready for an attack. I'm going to start pushing out. I realize that he's got an extra base, and I'm just letting him drone up. I need to put some additional pressure on here. I scan up to the front, giving me vision, so I know what's up ahead. Keep in mind that I can't actually see anything. This is what I see. This is what I see right now. I don't see where his units are. I'm putting my siege tanks up. I'm putting them in a line, and you'll see exactly why. He's morphing a lot of banelings and bringing his mutas over down here to flank me. I'm pushing up, trying to take out creep tumors. I see his baneling army. I'm pulling back, letting the siege tanks do the damage with the banelings, getting my infantry army out of the way, letting the siege tank take them out, and there they go, keeping most of my infantry army alive. And now that the baneling threat is out, I can feel free to push up. Now his Mutalisks are coming from the back, and I didn't know where they are. And what they're going to do is you're going to see very shortly. Picking off stray siege tanks, so that next time he has a high baneling count, these siege tanks will not be able to do any damage against them. Taking out siege tanks while my infantry are out of position, and then flying away. So my siege tank count is now incredibly low. I'm at 1 siege tank offensively, and that is huge. He's morphing a bunch more banelings, trying to pick that off. He picks off, oh, the last siege tank. No. Now these banelings can do a lot, but my spread is such I can hit up of the top of the ramp from these guys, and only having marauders to tank the baneling damage. But there are too many mutas right now, too many mutas. I don't have enough marines, and they're able to just clean up this remaining force here. Trying to take a look, see if he has anything, but he has spine crawlers. I won't be able to do anything. I just kind of let it go at this point, and it makes me very sad. So I've got my third. I don't even need the gas. I have so much money right now. I have not been spending it well, which is actually makes me very terrified at this point. I lost my army right there, and it is far easier for a Zerg to recreate his army than it is for a Terran. He's got 4 bases up going right now, which is where he needs to be. He's 1 base ahead of me. However, I realize that that's the case, and so I start building my 4th expansion right now as well. Just scouting with a couple marines, trying to pick off a couple of drones. Don't actually manage to do it, but what have you. Taking out the rock so I can put my expansion down to this gold base, and these gold mineral patches give you more minerals per trip than a typical blue mineral patch would, and I have a whole bunch of SCVs ready to transfer when that's over. Now he's coming in for a counterattack. He sees my marines, but I get him just a couple of them, and manage to take out the small contingent he had hitting them. He's just trying to see whether or not I have a gold base over here. I don't just yet, but I will shortly. And it's almost done. All the while, I'm getting upgrades, which means that for infantry, my marines do more damage and have higher health than they would have otherwise. They're halfway done with their last final upgrades. I have making 2 additional factories, so I'll be able to make insane siege tank production. And here come the Mutalisks to try to harass me a little bit more, see what's happening, and they come at the perfect time. My expansion is halfway over. My marines are not going to be able to get into a good position, and I am very unhappy. So what I have to do is split up my marines into forces, one over here to sort of attack him here, and if he pulls back, just to take him out, and another marine force over here that I stim to get him out of my base, and have my SCVs at the bottom repairing that command center, taking out a decent amount of mutas there. So really, it was a decent engagement for me. He lost more than I did, but it was still worrisome. And in he comes. He really wants to take out this 4th base. Bring the marines. And now you'll see what happens to marines when they get hit by banelings. It is not pleasant. Look at that. Oh, they just melt. They go up in giant green goops of messiness. Oh, that was eloquent. Picking up the stray Zerglings, and he does not take out my expansion. It's not flaming. So I do a decent job in doing that, but I lost a lot of workers and a lot of marines, and now his Mutalisk count is scary. He can do so much with this number of Mutalisks once he gets to this critical mass. No longer am I able to defend with just a couple turrets. He can take out anything he wants, really, except for a big fat blob of marines. And since he just took out my last chunk of Marines, I am at a significantly worse position to defend against this. Taking off the turrets that I have. Luckily, they give me time. He's focusing on those turrets. He gives me time to bring up my Marines, stimming them to get them there quicker, and scaring him out of my base. He may have been able to hit me, but no, I brought a good deal of him in. And now he's just flying around, but I know that he's going to be flying around, and he's going to be trying to get me where my Marines are not. So I've left a small contingent of Marines here, stimming him, trying to get him when he wasn't looking. Do manage to take out a couple more, and he's flying away. So now we're both on 4 base, which is exactly where I would want to be. Keeping even with a Zerg on bases is optimal for a Terran. And he just has a bunch of Banelings here. Very, very scary. But really that Mutalisk count is what I'm terrified about. But I finally, with the three factories, have a great number of siege tanks to deal with that. A fat number of Marines and a fat number of medevacs, which heal the Marines. And so I'm pushing out. His Mutalisks are out of position. I scan to see what's ahead of me. Now I'm a little bit worried because I actually have pretty much brought all my Marines out. So this Mutalisk counterattack as I'm pushing out is going to do a lot. But I have enough turrets to bring him out from that base. Setting up my siege tank line slowly, methodically, not letting myself get out of position. He's trying to flank me now with units over here, units over here. He does manage to take out my 4th base over here, but I don't even really mind. I have enough money that I'm more worried about losing this army. That's going to be the worst thing to do. I split up so that I keep my Marines back in my siege tank line now, just so that when he does, because I assume that he's going to bring his Mutalisk to take that out. I'm being very cautious with this push, very cautious. Oh, so many Banelings, so many Mutalisks. He doesn't realize that I have all these Marines here, taking out Mutalisks. Oh, so many Mutalisks dying, so many Mutalisks dying. And now he's bringing the Banelings, but my siege tank line is too good. Oh, and there they go, all of them, melting to this well-placed siege tank line. Taking out his expansion. And he did take this out, but my main is mined out, so I can just lift this off and plop it down here, and that is what I do. Slowly moving siege tanks up the line. Making sure I'm not caught out of position. He's making 7 Mutalisks and 28 Zerglings. Not going to be enough for this, I don't think. And the way that I'm set up is such that when he... Oh, trying to pick off siege tanks with those Mutalisks, but I have enough Marines out there in front. Enough medvacs to heal, stimming them. Oh, and all those Mutalisks are dying. All of them are dying. All of them are dead. And so now what I'm doing is splitting up my forces, pushing up a little bit forward to the main, and pushing down into his expansion at the same time, while moving over here and taking my 4th again. Scanning and seeing a whole bunch of Banelings being morphed. He cancels them, though. Go microing, trying to get as many siege tank splashes in as I can. He does manage to kill my siege tank there as I'm focused on putting a better position up in his main, and he cannot produce enough to deal with this. And all the while I'm making a nice backup army at my main in case of any counterattacks. Stimming in, taking out his defenses. GG. And I've won the game. So that was me playing a 1v1. The casting could have been a little bit better. I am incredibly out of practice at it. Hope it was somewhat easy to follow for those of you who have no idea what the hell is going on. But yep, that's just a game in the Diamond League 1v1, and that is every so often what I do with my life. I hope you guys enjoyed this and have a great day. Take care.